What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to WrestlePool After Wrestling. This is our live Smackdown reaction show. I'm Hosier, that's Bear, and I just hid Bear on camera because I don't know what I'm doing. He gave me the controls, okay? What's going on, Bear?
I'm excited for you to have the controls. I turn it over to you. We just watched a Smackdown. It was a Smackdown. Interesting thing that I'm going to start here with, that right at the end of the Smackdown, they were like showing all of their upcoming, like it was like Monday Night Raw, then Smackdown in Dallas next week, then the Raw, and then the Monday they were like showing the schedule of when Smackdown. Monday Night Raw, wherever that is, I forget where it said it was on Monday, is sold out. Dallas, Texas for SmackDown next week, sold out. I think Memphis, the following week, wherever the Raw is close to being sold out. Memphis for the following SmackDown is close to be sold out. They are on a roll with SmackDown and Raw and just being sold out everywhere, and crowds are hot. That crowd was hot tonight.
Yeah, that crowd was amazing tonight. Absolutely.
So it's fun to watch and to see that we've, like, I keep saying it, but it feels like this era of wrestling is poised to be bigger and better than the Attitude Era. So it's just cool to see.
All right. So before we get into the hot Smackdown we had tonight, we have to go back a few hours. We have to take you to X, and we have to take you to arguably one of the greatest promos I've ever heard from this man right here, the People's Champ, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So this is about 20 minutes. So I'm going to try to play. I'm going to play it all. All right. So we are going to hear it in its entirety live here on the WrestlePool post Smackdown reaction show. So let's hope this works.
It has been a big week.
I don't think it's going to work.
I mean, it's buffering. The Rock is buffering.
He's buff.
He's not that buff. Diasana was watching him tonight.
Big week in the world of professional wrestling.
Technology.
When you need it to work. It's not Twitter anymore. It's X now, right? Let's see if I can grab it.
It has been a big week in the world of the.
All right. If you can pull it up, let me know, because my computer is absolutely not. Well, that's disappointing.
All right, hold on. I think I got it. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to share.
I saw this because I watched the beginning of this video, and I saw him reference Dave LaGreca, and I happened to watch Dave LaGreca from Busted Open Radio's response first. And he was heated. It was like he was now all of a sudden in the storyline looking to finish his story with Cody Rhodes. Then I went back and I watched his full 21-minute promo. Oh.
Okay, let's see if we can get this to play here on my end.
And a big week. It's been a big week in the world of professional wrestling.
All right, here we go.
Big week in
this
the
is
world
unbelievable.
Of the WWE. It has been a big week in the world of The Rock, in the world of the People's Champion, in the world of the Great One, and in the world of the most electrifying man walking God's green earth, Daddy. It has been that kind of week. And to quote the legend, one of The Rock's heroes, what's causing all of this? Woo. It's been that kind of exciting week. Pro wrestling is exciting once again. It's been decades. Pro wrestling is cool once again. It's been decades. Pro wrestling is undeniably exciting once again. It's unpredictable. It's disruptive because of one man, and that is The Rock. Because The Rock came into pro wrestling. Came back to pro wrestling, a business that The Rock loves, an industry that The Rock was born into, took professional wrestling, turned it on its head, disrupted the shit out of it, and it will never ever be the same again. And it feels good. It feels so damn good. And whether you like The Rock or you don't like The Rock, it doesn't matter because it feels good. Pro wrestling is back on top. And it feels good. It feels good. But you know what? You know what? Here's the thing. You know what doesn't feel good? Well, The Rock will tell you what doesn't feel good. What doesn't feel good is all the bullshit that The Rock has got to deal with. All the bullshit that the People's Champion has got to deal with. All the Cody crybabies out there still running their mouths that The Rock has got to deal with.
Cody crybaby
All the
right here.
jabronis in the locker room
Absolutely.
still running their mealy mouths that The Rock has still got to deal with. Cody crybabies. Take a look.
You know who is my favorite wrestler right now?
There he is,
It's
baby.
Cody
I'm a
Rhodes.
LaGreca guy.
Do you know who I hate and I fucking despise in this moment? It's Dwayne Johnson, member of the board of directors of TKO. I hate that man right now in this moment. Not as a person,
Right now.
obviously, but as a wrestling fan watching the product. The person I want to boo, the person I hate the most is Dwayne Johnson, board of directors of the WWE and TKO. That's who I am angry at right now because I am looking at the board of director that came in, used his power to take this opportunity away from Cody and put himself in the main event at WrestleMania 40. That's how I look at it right now.
So you see, this is the level of absurdity and bullshit that The Rock has got to deal with. The Rock doesn't know who that guy is, but he knows what he is, and that's a goof, an idiot, another pro wrestling Cody crybaby jack-off idiot who thinks he knows everything but doesn't know shit. The guy is sitting in his basement with a bathrobe and a Cody Rhodes t-shirt on, and he's talking about how much he hates The Rock. You don't give that guy a podcast, you give him a straitjacket. How much he hates The Rock. You hate The Rock, you hate The Rock. It has nothing to do with the board. The Rock will get to that in a second. It has everything to do with common sense, you idiot, you goof, and to all the Cody crybabies who are grown-ass men who think you know it all when you don't know shit. You listen up to The Rock right now. It has nothing to do with the board. It has nothing to do with the fact that The Rock owns everything as it relates to The Rock, the People's Champion, full ownership, which means The Rock is the boss. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with common sense. Let The Rock drop some gospel on you. Here's the common sense. When Roman Reigns, years ago, dropped the words, head of the table, those words were specifically and solely set up and created so one day Roman Reigns, the champion of the WWE, would come face to face with his cousin, The Rock, the People's Champion, and together, combined, they will make the biggest WrestleMania of all time. The biggest match of all time. The biggest match in the history of professional wrestling. When Roman Reigns said those words, that's why he said it. Because that is Roman Reigns' story. That is The Rock's story. At one time, that was Cody Rhodes' story, but it was last year. And what happened last year at WrestleMania? What's the technical term? He shit the bed. That's what happened. And then The Rock comes back on January 1st of this year. It's a big year. You know it, and The Rock knows it. It's an exciting year. You can feel it in the air. You can feel the mana. 2024, we're going to kick it off the right way. The Rock goes out there in front of that crowd in San Diego, California, and said exactly what he promised he was going to say, because we had an agreement. And that agreement was The Rock was going to go out there and he was going to test the waters. And he was going to see how the crowd reacted. Where should The Rock sit? You remember. Should The Rock sit at a booth? Crowd didn't know where I was going. Should The Rock sit at a bar?
No, that was predictable. I knew exactly where The Rock was going.
Yeah, The Rock loves a bar because The Rock loves him some tequila. Or should The Rock sit at the head of the table? The crowd that night exploded. Around the world exploded. And just as sure as The Rock has chills on his arm, the world exploded because they knew after all these years they were finally getting The Rock versus Roman Reigns, the biggest WrestleMania of all time. Of all time. Then what happens? Cody Rhodes, he wins the Royal Rumble. Fair and square, works his ass off, and he wins that Royal Rumble, baby. Yeah, he's going to WrestleMania. Yeah, good for him. Good for him. The Rock was happy. But what happened? The Rock called Cody Rhodes, had a conversation. But it was a conversation that a few have had with Cody Rhodes before. Because Cody knew the biggest match of all time was looming. The Rock talked to Cody and said, Cody, you know, you love this business. The Rock loves this business. You were born into this business. The Rock was born into this business. Roman Reigns was born into this business. The three of us born into this business. You know, Cody, you got the biggest WrestleMania main event of all time. Right here, you have an opportunity to bring this business up to places it's never been before. You can always, with all due respect, finish your story another time. You agreed. You agreed. Rocket stings. But I agree. It stings. But I'm a team player. It stings. But I want what's best for the business. Good man. Good man. And then what happened? In Birmingham, Alabama, a city we selected because of its rich history, and we knew we were going to make history. It was your job, Cody, to introduce The Rock, thus setting up the biggest main event of all time. And what'd you do? You did exactly what we agreed on. Brother, you introduced The Rock, and that place went crazy. And The Rock came out. And he dapped you up, he pulled you in and gave you a big hug, and I whispered something in your ear. Let's put on the biggest WrestleMania of all time. Let's do it for the American dream. Let's do it for the Soul Man. And I gave you a hug, you hugged The Rock back. And what'd you do, Cody? You walked out of that ring on live TV. And you turned back and you looked at The Rock. And instead of looking at The Rock saying, yeah, go get him. Let's make history. Instead of that, what'd you do? You gave The Rock a look. And it's the same look you gave the world. Like The Rock went out and ran over your goofy ass dog. That's the look you gave. Like The Rock ran over your goofy ass dog. Then sometime from that moment on until Las Vegas, you changed your mind. You know what? That's no problem. You can change your mind. You have that right. And The Rock accepts that. Everybody has a right to change their mind. The Rock accepts it. You changed your mind. But here's what The Rock doesn't accept. Is how you did it. I'll say it again because it's important. To all the Cody crybabies and all the goofs out there and the idiots who still complain. Cody, you had a right to change your mind. You won the Royal Rumble. But what The Rock doesn't accept is how you did it. Saw you in Las Vegas. Saw you in Las Vegas. Saw you backstage 20 feet away. Rock dapped you up, gave you a hug. Did you say anything to The Rock then? Hey, Rock, I got something on my mind. Yeah, tell me about it. Hey, Rock, I got something that's eating me up inside. Cody, go ahead, tell me about it. Let's walk over there. Let's talk in private. Come and tell me about it. Did you say any of that? No, you didn't say a thing. But what'd you do? You waited until Roman Reigns walked out there and announced he's facing The Rock. Then The Rock went out there, showed the entire family tree, proof of the most dominant family in professional wrestling, in entertainment, and in sports in the world. And accepted Roman Reigns, accepted the challenge, blood oath, and we were going to put on the biggest WrestleMania of all time. What'd you do? Then you came out and you interrupted.
Hold on, hold on. This right here is bullshit.
You said it was bullshit. Yeah, it was bullshit. You could think it's bullshit, brother. Not a problem. But you know where you really screwed up? It's when you talk shit about my family. All the Cody crybabies. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Shut your mouths. You talk shit about my family. What'd you call him, Cody?
It's not a family. They are nothing but lackeys, but yes men. They're goons.
Then you spoke about Roman's grandfather, and you spoke about my grandfather, the great High Chief Peter Maivia.
If your grandfather was here, if the High Chief, his grandfather, was here, they'd be ashamed of you.
I did to you, Cody Rhodes, in that moment what I would do to you 1,000,000 times, which is slap the taste right out of your mouth. And then what happened? What happened? The Rock embarrassed you in front of the world, boy. Slapped the shit out of you. You had it coming. Talk shit about my family again. Said it to you then, I'll say it again. I'll say it forever. Talk shit about my family again, and I'll do worse than that. But then what happened? Your new best friend. You got a new best friend. How about that? You got a new best friend in the walking clown show known as Seth Rollins. What did Seth do? The Rock slaps the shit out of you. Seth steps to The Rock. The Rock pushed him back, gave him a little love tap. Get back, boy. You don't want any of this. The Rock doesn't know you. You don't know The Rock, but you don't want to know The Rock in that way. This is none of your business. The Rock doesn't know Seth Rollins, never said a word about Seth Rollins publicly, privately, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The Rock has no idea. The Rock has no idea why this man is getting in our business, but he did. And not only that, but then he just can't help himself. Like a lot of the jabronis in the locker room, just can't help himself and start talking shit about The Rock. Take a look.
Yeah, he's going to open his mouth. He's going to run his mouth. He's going to say the same crap he's been saying for the last 2 decades because he can't come up with any new material. But the bottom line is, and I've said it before, he's an afterthought. This is our story. It's our era. We built the last decade of WWE, this Elimination Chamber show, WrestleMania, the biggest ever. We built it without him.
So he can come in, he can get what he wants, he can take his little piece, and then he can go back to Hollywood and do his thing. Because we got this thing, but we don't need you, big guy.
Seth speaking facts. Facts.
Big time.
You don't need The Rock, huh? Rock, we don't need you. You don't need The Rock. If you were a little smarter, Seth, you'd realize how stupid you sound. Let The Rock drop some gospel on your goofy ass. You need The Rock in ways that you can't even imagine. Here's some gospel. You think when Ari Emanuel, The Rock's good friend, The Rock's business partner for decades, The Rock's lead agent, Someone who The Rock looks to like a big brother. You think when he goes to sit with Netflix across from Ted Sarandos, The Rock's good buddy and business partner, sitting across from Bella Bajaria, The Rock's good friend and business partner at Netflix. You think when they're inking, when they're signing this $5 billion deal for the WWE and Netflix, do you think that Ted and Bella is saying, hey, Ari, when WWE comes to Netflix, is Seth Rollins going to be champion? Do you think that that's what they're asking? No, they're not asking that. Number one, because they don't care. And number two, they don't know who in the hell you are. You know what they're asking? Hey, Ari, we'll sign this $5 billion historical deal. Never before. But one question. Where's the people's champion? One question. Where is the man, The Rock himself? One question. Where's the man who has the most watched film in the history of Netflix? The Rock. Where is he at in this whole thing? Ari looks at them and says, he's locked in for life. He's locked in for life. Director of the board, owns everything as it relates to his name. He's locked in for life. Signed $5 billion. So Seth Rollins, you understand now how much you need The Rock? You understand now, right, boy? And you keep running your mouth. You keep running your mouth. Rock, you find some new material, Rock. Find some new material? Is that right? Okay, well, The Rock has some new material for you. How about this? Here's some new material for you, Seth Rollins. How about this? The Rock sits at the top. Director, TKO board, not WWE, but TKO, which means The Rock is the boss, which means The Rock is your boss, which means The Rock owns everything, The Rock, everything associated with The Rock, the people's champion, owns it all, which means The Rock is your boss, which means, Seth Rollins, if you keep running your mouth and sticking your nose in the Bloodlines business, then that world title that you have around your waist, very soon, The Rock will make that title go to somebody else. Read between the lines. Yes, The Rock just blurred it. Keep running your mouth, sticking your nose in the Bloodlines business. This is between The Rock and it is between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. That's it. Stick your nose where it doesn't belong. The Rock guarantees you. And The Rock has built a career on doing everything he has said he's going to do. The Rock guarantees you stick your nose in our business, that world title that you have around your waist will go to somebody else. It will go to somebody else. And there's two things you could do about it, Seth. Nothing and like it. You keep sticking your nose in our business. The Rock and Roman Reigns are going to beat your goofy ass right back to the circus with the rest of the clowns. Cody Rhodes, for you, the Cody crybabies, for your new best friend, the walking clown emoji himself, Seth Rollins, and to your goofy ass dog, The Rock says this: you all are advocates of Cody finishing his story. It's so important. Cody Rhodes, you took something from The Rock. You insulted my family. You took something from The Rock. You took something from Roman Reigns. You took something from the millions and millions and millions and millions of the real fans who wanted to see the biggest WrestleMania event of all time. You took it away. You took it away. And now you're going to pay. Cody Rhodes, from the bottom of my heart, man to man, fuck your story. Glendale, Arizona, greatness is coming. Friday Night Live, Smackdown. Dallas, Texas, greatness is coming. You are on deck, March 8th. Greatness is coming. Memphis, Tennessee, March 15th. The Rock is coming home. If you smell The Rock. He's cooking.
Bam.
You go. You go. I'm about to tear
Oh.
Rocky a new one.
Oh, I loved it.
I'm about to tear Rocky. No, it was the biggest bullshit that Rocky's ever spoken in his life.
Oh, come, God.
Rocky's the biggest idiot that has ever entered the wrestling business.
I want to hear this.
Dumbass. Hold on.
Bear is heated. I love it. Let's
Okay.
go, Bear.
All right.
Rated R Bear.
Here we go. Okay. This is where The Rock is stupid and should shut his mouth and know his role and just stop. We all wanted that match. The Rock versus Roman. You know how bad I wanted that match. We all, as wrestling fans, wanted that match. I didn't want it this year. Nobody wanted it this year. Rocky, if you are so nearsighted and so ignorant that you believe that a story that big could be told in a matter of 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, then why didn't you enter your ass in the Royal Rumble? Why didn't you step through the ropes at the Royal Rumble and win the Royal Rumble so that all of this wasn't a thing, right? Like 100% Dave LaGreca was right. Rocky used his power to get that spot, and that is wrong. He went into business for himself. He tried to put himself over. All the insider terms in the wrestling business. As a promo, is it great? Of course. Does it further the story? 100%. But the idea that Rock thinks that this was a story that we only wanted to watch for 6 to 8 weeks from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania 40 makes him the biggest dumbass in the history of professional wrestling. Okay, I wanted this story for the next 12 to 14 months because there is so much that you can do. You're disrespecting your family by doing this in 6 to 8 weeks and not being able to include all of the history that family in the professional wrestling business has. So no, Rock, you're dumb. Your story, the idea for your story, if it was truly to go from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania 40, sucks. And I don't want to watch that story at all. I want to watch you tell an incredible story over 12 to 14 months. And the fact that you were going to rob the professional wrestling fans of a truly once in a generation, once in a lifetime, once in history story because you wanted to tell it in 6 to 8 weeks is bullshit. This was a pivot. This wasn't the plan. Stop making everybody try to think that it was the plan. This was a pivot. And the fact that you were okay with only telling that story between you and Roman Reigns in 6 to 8 weeks makes you the stupidest person in the professional wrestling world. That's it. End of story. Everything you said in there as a promo, great job, Rock. You can cut a promo because you probably read from a teleprompter. We don't need you, Rocky. We don't need you. I don't want you anymore. We don't need you. Take your brass ring and go. This generation will be better than your generation ever was. Seth Rollins speaking facts. You haven't been around for a decade. We don't need you. Peace out. See you later. Goodbye.
Wow. I was just happy with a promo. Chris just went scorched earth. I love it.
No.
You are right. You are 100% right. I wasn't looking at it that way.
Yeah.
But I was looking at it as a promo for what we
Sure.
know is happening now that they've pivoted. But everything you said, preach, brother man, preach. I love it. Yes. yes,
Yeah.
this generation will be better because of people like Cody Rhodes, because of people like Seth Rollins carrying the torch.
And because of
Beyond
Roman
you.
Reigns. And because
Oh,
of
yeah.
Roman Reigns.
Absolutely.
And because of the KOs and the Sammys and everything, Rocky didn't make wrestling cool again.
No.
They've been putting in work for the past 3 to 4 years to make the WWE and make professional wrestling what it is again. And we as wrestling fans are so excited, especially those who remember the Attitude Era days and remember watching Rocky Austin and remember watching D-Generation X and remember the absolute fanatical, like just everything about it, right? And the spectacle that it was. We've got that back, not because of The Rock. The Rock's coming in because he sees an opportunity for him, and I'm fine with it. I have no problem. I wanted it. I wanted The Rock and Roman. But we have, as wrestling fans, have become so much smarter about what we're doing, about what professional wrestling is doing, and we want good story. And I don't want good story for only 6 to 8 weeks. And if you were going to rob me of that, then I don't want you, Rock. I don't want you at all. So, yeah, I'm heated after I did. That was no, and I didn't watch that earlier. That's the first time that I watched that.
I love the promo for what it's doing now going forward, because I guess now we kind of have a path of where we think we're going leading into tonight's SmackDown.
Right.
But everything prior to them pivoting, everything you just said is 100% correct.
Yeah.
And you're right. This promo does kind of fly in the face to those of us who understand what we were watching, and we understand the changes that have transpired. You're kind of just laughing at us, Rock. You really are.
Yeah.
You think that we don't know. No, we know. We get it. We saw what happened. We saw the reaction you got.
Right.
We saw the hashtag "We Want Cody" on social media. We saw it all. So in that respect, Bear is telling 100% facts. He's spitting bars tonight. That was a great freestyle. I loved it. So that was the promo. That was Rock's 21-minute promo. And Dave LaGreca, who is a wonderful host on Busted Open, came back with a fiery response, saying that he'll be at WrestleMania. So if The Rock wants to come on Busted Open, they can definitely conversate about the wrestling fan and why Cody is so important to the wrestling fan, finishing his story at WrestleMania. And just like you said, not telling this story, Rock Roman, in just 6 to 8 weeks, like he's talking like he wanted to. 100% right. So then that leads us to a great episode of SmackDown tonight and an opening, according to someone on X, a 40-minute opening segment where The Rock, it's hard to boo The Rock. I get it.
Of course.
But he talked trash. He challenged, he acknowledged the challenge from Cody, and he said no. And he said, I'm going to counter offer. He said, Rock, Roman Reigns, Cody, Seth. If Cody and Seth win, the Cody Roman match is bloodline free.
Right.
No Jimmy, no Solo, no Wiseman, no Rock. It's one-on-one for the belt.
Right.
But if Roman and Rock win, it is now bloodline rules. And if we learned anything from Tribal Combat, that means it's going to be an absolute free-for-all for the Universal Championship. So what do you think of that opening 40-minute segment and the counter offer to the challenge made by Cody Rhodes?
It was shocking how long that was. Like it was, when it was over, I was like, they just went 40 minutes, 45 minutes. That was crazy. We thought it was actually a little shorter than that, but 40 minutes sounds about right. Listen, I thought it was good. I actually wasn't the happiest. Like, I'm not unhappy with tonight's SmackDown, but I'm not like, oh my goodness, that was a great SmackDown. We moved story forward. At the end of the day, we moved the story forward. To me, The Rock hasn't found his rhythm yet as a heel, as that,
agree.
You know what I mean? Like he has not found that rhythm that he had. And I think it's just a mixture of the crowd, maybe just not being, wanting to be for him and against him at the same exact time. And it's hard to, but he hasn't found that rhythm yet, which I really want him to find, because I want Rocky back. I love that heel Rocky coming back would be amazing. The shocking part of that, Rock acknowledging Roman Reigns as the tribal chief. And I said to you as we were sitting there and that happening, to me, what this all really set up was the Rock's turn on Roman. And I believe that's what will happen, is that the Rock will turn on Roman and cost him the title against Cody somehow. Maybe during the tag, Rocky walks away from Roman, and then Cody and Seth get the win. And therefore, because let's remember something, and we talked about it here, for the past 3 years, Roman has not been able to win a match without some sort of outside interference. It is a trend that they have done, and it's important to remember that. Even last year against, tonight Rock is talking about Roman whooped his ass. Well, no, Solo got involved, right? Like, we just ignore like the bloodline, and that's the shtick, is that they just ignore those facts. And that's important for us, as like, if we're looking at this story trying to figure out where it's going, that's important for us to understand that. So I think that this sets up that probably the turn, so that, and in my opinion, when that turn happens, and I said to you, Roman's about to be the biggest babyface in the history of the WWE.
Can you do me a favor? Expand upon how you think that's going to go down and where that leads us, and how you think they should go about doing it, because I think it's utterly brilliant.
So this is what I would love to see. And if Chris was writing for the WWE and writing this storyline, I think the best thing to happen is Roman being demolished by The Rock somehow. So maybe Rock and Roman beat Cody, and therefore it's bloodline rules, and it's just pure chaos for Cody and Roman's match. And The Rock does something to absolutely just like demolish Roman Reigns, like just beats him badly, maybe enlists Solo and Jimmy and gets them to turn on Roman and the whole thing. And The Rock becomes the head of the table. And Roman is gone for 6 to 8 months, because we've talked about, and what would be incredible and we even saw it tonight, Rocky sitting there and saying, there's not a man back there that can stop me because I'm the boss. Well, we all started here. We heard the crowd chanting Triple H. We all know that that's the savior against The Rock in all of this, right? Is Triple H and Rocky coming together. We know Hunter can't get in the ring, and that's fine, but the two of them feuding, and then Triple H leading that band of brothers and sisters against The Rock and the new authority figure. So Roman goes away for a while. Rocky's there, got his, was putting his thumb on them, and Triple H is leading this charge with the Cody Rhodes and CM Punks and Seth Rollins, KO Sammy of the world. And as we come to the climax of that feud, Hunter has one option left, one card to play, and it's to make the call to the tribal chief and bring Roman Reigns into the fold with Cody, with Seth, with CM Punk. And now you have these four leading the rest of the WWE against The Rock and his bloodline. And then from there, we build to next year's WrestleMania, which is what we wanted in the first place. I still wholeheartedly believe that my prediction in the beginning was always, with The Rock coming back, that this feud was 12 to 14 months. It was going from Royal Rumble in 2024 through WrestleMania 41 is where this would culminate in the end, and Roman Reigns beating The Rock for the head of the table. So we still get that, but we had to take a little detour to get there. And apparently Rocky didn't want us to have that. So, but now that's how I would tell this story. I think it's what It's compelling. You get to include all this incredible history of The Rock and Roman's family, Dusty. We hopefully get Dustin involved in the future, and Cody, and then this new gen, and then we get the Attitude Era of Hunter and The Rock, passing the torch to this new era and whatever this era is going to be called of professional wrestlers and saying, here you go, kid. It's yours now. Keep it safe and do better than we ever did. So that's where I would go with it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And you mentioned the Rock acknowledging Roman Reigns as the tribal chief in the middle of the ring tonight, and Rock still threw up that L, and everyone points to that about what he's doing. I love that story. You think Roman, and I hope, and I've said this, but I only said Roman coming back as a babyface with the title because I feel like there's nobody else for him as a heel character to have real feuds with. He will be rehashing everything a second and maybe even the third time around, but him without the belt. And then you don't know what transpires from there, because I have a feeling we're going to get a massive CM Punk heel run at some point. It could be Drew McIntyre. There could be so much going on where roles are reversed and now Cody's, I don't know if they'll ever make Cody heel, but Seth Rollins could be a heel and we can get a Seth Roman. So there's a lot to be done there with Roman as a babyface, but I absolutely love it. We also got another pretty big turn tonight on SmackDown, which we all kind of anticipated.
Correct.
But they didn't waste no time turning Dakota Kai on Bayley with the traditional, we're going to do a tag team match. I got your back. And then she jumps off from the apron and Bayley realized she's been screwed again by someone in Damage Control. And then they all pile up on her. And they create that visual going into Mania of Io holding the belt, all of them holding her. And it looks like the odds are completely stacked against Bayley going into WrestleMania 40.
Right. We all saw that coming. I wish that I said to you, I was like, I wonder who's going to make the save. And it was like, if only there was somebody out there that could come in and
if only she had a friend.
If only she had a friend. Britt Baker. But no, I was like, I wonder who's going to make the save, but it does look like Bayley's going into WrestleMania on her own, which is fine. Like, let Bayley go have that moment. She overcomes all of the odds to win that from Io and gets her moment. Love it. I think it's amazing. And I can't wait for that moment for her. She's done everything else at WrestleMania, so she needs to do this. But yeah, we all saw that turn coming. We all knew it was going to happen at some point. It was just a matter of when. I'm actually surprised they did it this early and didn't let this go another week or two, and get this closer to WrestleMania and then do it. I am surprised they did it this early, but now we're going to get some great work from Dakota. Dakota's, I think, might be underrated on the mic, right? Like, I don't think we think about Dakota in terms of like her character work, and she's a great wrestler, but I think Dakota's maybe a little underrated on the mic. And so her being the mouthpiece for the Kabuki Warriors and Io, I think is going to be a lot of fun over the next few weeks as we're ramping up to that what should be a main event, but maybe it will be a main event now, right? Because we're thinking that Seth is either going to open. Oh no, it won't, because we'll get the tag match of Roman.
We'll get the tag match, yeah.
Right, so it won't be a main event, but what should be a main event at WrestleMania.
Yeah, there's a lot of main event quality matches. They might all be. Both women matches could main event night one. Seth Drew can main event night one. But I can't see any, unless they open with the tag match to give them as much rest for the next day.
Because why not? Because why not?
Give them that extra few hours. I mean, what a way to kick off WrestleMania, having that tag match. Woo!
Right.
And then I'm all in for a Bayley main event. And we got another return tonight. Booyaka, booyaka.
No. See, and this is why, like, I'm kind of upset with this SmackDown, because we had some really big moments in this SmackDown, but I didn't feel like the wrestling tonight was as good as it should have been. It wasn't important. I get that.
Wasn't.
But I still want great wrestling. Like, I still want to watch great matches and have that, right? So So that's why I feel like, oh, it was a good SmackDown, but it wasn't like it moved story forward, and that's fine, and it does its job.
That was that phrase right there, move the story forward. That's
Right.
all this was throughout the entire night.
Right.
For the Bloodline and Cody, for the
Right.
LWO versus whatever Santos Escobar's group is, and then Damage Control
Legado
versus
del
Bailey.
Fantasma.
That's
Legado
it.
del
I'm not
Fantasma.
Legado del Fantasma.
There you go.
All right, I got it.
No, I'm with you, and that's what it was, is moving story forward, and that's fine. That's fine. You're gonna have those. But like you said to me, you were like, the card is stacked tonight. Like, we got Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi, which should have been a banger. Like, should have been a great match. And I'm not saying it wasn't, but I just like
It wasn't given enough time.
It wasn't given enough time. And then
Nope.
we got Carlito versus Escobar in the street fight. And I was, during the match, I was like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like a street fight. It doesn't feel like the reason you did that match was simply for Ray to come back. Like,
Yes,
that's why.
Absolutely.
So, probably the greatest bit of wrestling tonight was the absolute incredible sell on the stunner by Austin Theory. First of all, Austin Theory took an incredible RKO out of nowhere, does the roll into the ring, jumps up, and Randy just grabs him, and it, in slow motion, it seriously looks beautiful, like just a piece of art. But then the way he sold that stunner that KO gave him was just ridiculous and over the top. And I was like, this is amazing. I love everything about this. Thank you, Austin Theory. That was honestly the highlight of the wrestling for the night for me. But another kind of offhand thing, like, again, talking about moving some stories forward and moving some pieces around, like needing to push things. Nick Aldis talking about some sort of announcement coming for the tag titles. Him and Adam Pearce have been working on. So what I really hope that it's not is that it's not a split of the titles, because
I hope so. Oh, and while you were away from the TV, we also got a Jade Cargill signing. She came face to face with Damage Control as well.
Okay. Oh, so maybe we're gonna get a little backup for Bailey in the form of Jade Cargill. That might be.
I'd like
thing.
it. I'd like it.
I'm all for it. Like, that's way to put Jade in a good spot and just give her something. It feels like they're trying to keep her. You know, she's gonna be a baby face, and she's not gonna be heel right now. And maybe until we get her and Bianca. But I'm cool with that. That sounds good. Like, that's a nice little pairing. Her, Bailey needs some sort of Bailey probably does need some sort of backup over the next few weeks. So you might see the likes of Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair kind of coming and flanking her sides and being like, hey, leave our girl alone, which would be, that's interesting. What if the women's tag title match was the Kabuki Warriors versus Bianca and Jade?
I like that.
That could be really, maybe that's why we got that tonight, because if Jade's going to start backing up Bailey, and then we get Bianca to start backing up Bailey, right? Like, that's how you work that match on to Mania for the women's tag titles, is Jade, which would be a pair. Bianca and Jade as women tags champs, you'll never take those belts off them.
I agree.
That's a powerhouse right there. So
we have a lot more. We might be, there's a lot of WrestlePool live reactions coming up the next few days. We have Collision tomorrow night, which we're going to try to go live for.
Yep.
We'll have some combination of pre-show, post-show, or live stream throughout Revolution. We haven't really decided yet. And then we'll be right back here on Monday night, live post-show reaction for Monday Night Raw, which is sold out as well in San Antonio, Texas. And I'm sure we are going to get one heck of a response from Cody and Seth. And as we continue to inch ever so closely on the road to WrestleMania, any last thoughts on today's fun?
Yeah, last thoughts. Dwayne, I still love you. You're great. Your family's amazing. But, bro, come on. Like, we got to cut this shit. Come on now. That's my last thought. But other than that, Whew, I'm gonna go to bed heated now because I had to watch that. You made me watch that promo.
I wasn't expecting that, but I'm glad we got it because that was fantastic. So that's Bear. I'm Hosier. We are WrestlePool After Wrestling. This is our SmackDown reaction show. We'll see you tomorrow night.